Once, on one occasion, somebody asked Nizam of Hyderabad, Your Highness, people talk a lot about the heaven, and do you believe in heaven? So Nizam Sarkar said, the way he put it across, he said, आसिफ किस मुकाम की तहकीक कुछ नहीं, जन्नत वही जगह है जहाँ पे दिल फैल गया. There is Falaknuma Palace. And I feel Falaknuma is not just a hotel, it is a palace that takes us back in time.
Last time I saw this place really was back in, I think, the very early 70s. And from what I remember, it wasn't in a wonderful state then. And then back in 94, when my father and I came back here, this place really wasn't in a good state. I mean, it was really falling apart. And then seeing it, what it is today, really is incredible. I mean, I know it's taken a lot of effort from a lot of people, including the family, my mother in particular, who was in the forefront of this venture, and the Taj Group, obviously, who are wanting to be involved. And they did, I think, a very good job. And I have to say I'm very proud of it. It's wonderful to see it like this. It's wonderful to see it full most of the time, or all of the time. And seeing it restored to the way it originally was, it's really wonderful, and it's good to see that it's eventually being used, because I think that way back in like the early 90s, I never expected it to be like this. I never expected in my wildest dreams that one day it would look like this and see it packed like this again.
As Taj Falaknuma Palace celebrates 5 years of its opening as a spectacular palace hotel, it's very interesting to look back into this long journey, starting off with the vision of the Tata Group and the Taj Hotels, Resorts and Palaces, to think of Hyderabad and Falaknuma to be amongst a top world-class destination, and to the great efforts and pains which are put in by Princess Ezra to look at each and every detail to restore this magnificent property which hasn't been lived in for almost about 80 years. This 12-year long restoration process is something which is very inspiring, something which had not been actually done anywhere else in the world, and I think you would have read a lot about the restoration process itself, wherein right from expensive glassware, art, carpets, upholstery was all restored through.
Over the past 5 years, we have strived to get unforgettable guest experiences, and to create these experiences, the entire departments of the palace come together to create magical moments for the guests.
The palace cuisine is all about relishing the ancient recipes and memories of the palace cuisine. And what we do in Taj Falaknuma is collecting all these recipes, which is the lost memories in the city as well as of Taj Falaknuma Palace, and transforming it into the new generation and serving it completely in a modernized style, but yes, keeping the ancient history and style intact.
After lying vacant for over 100 years, Falaknuma Palace has been the home for various guests over the last 5 years. Our guests range from holiday makers, corporates and events, weddings and banquets. Falaknuma Palace has greatly expanded Hyderabad as a luxury destination. Every day when I come to work, I realize that there are hidden treasures to explore in this palace. Falaknuma is not just a landmark, it's a living palace hotel for all our guests to explore.
And to see it now, I remember when we had the opening here, when the Taj had the opening. I mean, we were all very impressed. I have to say that my father also really was very impressed with what had been done here, and I think it sort of brought him back here for a while.
In terms of service, again the challenge was to match the product that we have on offer. Since it's the best available in the world, the challenge always was to match up or exceed the product in terms of services. What we do here is plan the guests' stay much before they arrive to the palace. In fact, it starts at the stage. We try to get to know the guest much before they arrive into the palace. So therefore we have a core team which comes together every day, plans the guest arriving the next day. So we discuss each guest purpose of visit, and accordingly we plan their celebration, surprises, or something that we could touch upon which will ensure that they remember us for their lifetime and make it a memorable experience, of course.
Falak is a Urdu term. Falak means sky, sky celestial hub. Numa means like. Falak Numa implies mirror of the sky, reflection of the sky, star of heaven, like a heaven. It took nearly 10 years to build this palace, 22 years to decorate, and 10 years to restore the palace by Tatas. Tatas spent $50 million to restore the palace. And it took nearly 10 years for us to restore the palace. And in 2010, we opened the palace for our guests.
Great hotels are not just beautiful buildings, it's all about the people who work here as well. And it would be something which I would be missing if I do not talk about the passionate, very committed and a dedicated and a very talented team of associates which we have here at Taj Falak Numaa Palace, who've strived to create experiences and better those experiences over the last 5 years, and giving unforgettable memories to a lot of our guests who come and stay at Taj Falak Numaa Palace.
Jiva Spa has created over 5 years timeless experiences for the guests at Taj Falak Numaa Palace. At Falak Numaa, the treatment, the Nawab Khas, a very special treatment taken from the Nizam's royal culture as well as from his lifestyle. The Nawab Khas treatment is designed to soothe, as beautify as well as relax the guest with a very nourishing and rich treatment. The Nawab Khas treatment won the award as Best Spa Treatment from the Konya's Travel.
While our associates know how to engage themselves with our guests, we know how to engage our associates. So we do a lot of activities which are basically including how to train them. We train them on sensitivity, on understanding the guest needs, on how to engage with a wonderful conversation with them. We also train them how to emotionally connect with the guests. So likewise, we at Human Resources and Learning Development also engage ourselves with our associates by doing many activities, including celebrating different festivals, doing different competitions, engaging them into different innovation, different team building exercises. So it's important for them to understand, and it's important for us to make them feel happy, which is truly reflection when they deal with their guests.
It gives me a pleasure walking in Taj Falak Numaa Palace. I've been walking here last 8 years, and I have seen the changes, lot of changes in the palace. Like at the time of project state, it was in a bad condition. A lot of effort has been put in restoring the palace. It was in a shabby condition. It took 10 years to restore this palace.
So when we started the restaurant about 5 years back, we went to all the houses and traditional restaurants, the local restaurants in Hyderabad, and our only aim was to decipher the masalas that they've used. We deciphered the Potli masala, the Nalli Nihari masala, and which has the exquisite ingredients like the pan ki jad and the khas ki jad, which is vetiver. So we came and we replicated the recipes, keeping the authenticity in mind and using modern techniques of presentation.
We check everyday special requirements for the guest. Then accordingly we'll make the special amenities every day, as well as we make chocolate flanks with edible photo. It's give completely personalized service in this hotel only. This is the palace special service.
In Taj Falak Numaa Palace, we've got 2 restaurants, Ada and Celeste, and we've got a very limited seating capacity. Because of that, we have created a new menu which is called Gold Bungalow, where we serve 5-course preset menu, and your choice of Indian and Italian. That is overlooks the city with the entire city looks entire old city, and with full of lights. And we have got other unique dining experience venues like Southeast Garden and Grand Presidential Suite, where we serve intimate dining experiences which we do at the palace.
Ever since we have started our operations, we have a thing in our mind that how we're going to create a same bygone the Nizam and the princes used to enjoy. So we got an idea in our mind that we will going to give them the same luxury, the same era which they used to enjoy or they used to rejoice.
No hotel of any category in the world or palace in the world has the kind of royal treasure that we have in this palace. There are 4 highlights, 4 things which are the best. First thing, we have the world's most beautiful Imperial Royal Library, replica of the one at Windsor Castle. Secondly, world's the best drawing room, this one. Thirdly, world's most beautiful ballroom in paradise, come audience hall, which are dedicated to Queen Victoria by the Prime Minister, who had a great respect about the ladies. All Victorian theme in the particular hall. And fourth, world's most luxurious, longest and biggest dining table, where Nizam had more than 100 gold plates and heavenly built chandeliers.
I joined the palace in the year 2010 as a pre-opening team member, where I got an opportunity to learn a lot during a pre-opening phase of the palace. Now, I joined as a room attendant, and my journey began. From there, I became supervisor within 2 years. Next 2 years, I was assistant manager, and now I am working as a deputy housekeeper for the palace.
We at Falaknuma enjoy serving over here because the style of service that we do over here is brigade service, where everyone walks in together, stands behind together, and on a nod, they serve the food together, clear the food together, and walk out together. That is the brigade service that we do at Falaknuma, and I have been doing it for the last so many years over here and have got a lot of wonderful guests commenting on the services over here.
Adab, I take pride to work in Taj Falaknuma Palace from the pre-opening team. We not only give the royal experience to the guest, but also personalize the experience and customize it to the guest details. Here, as an example, I would say when the guest checks in, before his check-in, we do a lot of things. We plan their entire stay in the Taj Falaknuma Palace, where we discuss his profile, his itinerary, the purpose of visit, and his preferences. Like an example, if we know the guest is celebrating his anniversary, so the celebration not only starts in the palace, it starts from the airport when our airport representative meets him and greets him with a rose in his hand, and it continues when the guest arrives to the hotel till the time of the check-in in the room.
The palace which we see here, the Falaknuma, the Mirror of Sky, was something which was already there, but here where we are standing, Paul Janana was in ruins. It was Taj, Princess Asra, the first wife of Mukarram Jah, our 8th Nizam. She took her, an immense effort to make this palace come in alive, and there was a team of people who have worked over the period throughout the years to make this palace come into what it is.
What is considered to be anticipatory service in other hotels are part of our routine services in the palace here.
तारीफ करो उस खुदा की फैज़ जिसने जहां बनाया, फलक पर आसमां और ज़मीं पे फलकनुमा बनाया.